Good evening to everyone. This is an online session. So today we are going to discuss about the introduction to control system. And I am Sumangala from NTTF, Assistant Manager. So recall previous sessions. This is what we are watching is a simple circuit. So what all things we are observing in this simple circuit? There is one battery, there is one switch, and there is one bulb. So we all understand how this circuit work. So there is a battery, which is a source of power to the bulb, which is glowing, and there is a switch. If I install a switch, I can control when my bulb can switch on or turn off. Okay, so this is a very simple circuit. If I remove this switch, if I remove this switch, so then there will be no control over the turning on and off of the bulb, so that the battery will get drained easily and early. To control that, whenever I require the bulb should be on, I have this switch button. So switch button is acting as a control unit in this simple circuit. So in day-to-day life, we see a lot of machines, tools, equipments which perform some task. Correct? Example: the fan which circulate the air, washing machine which washes the clothes, and vehicle which we use for communication purpose, and traffic signal which helps us to control the traffic congestion. Why we should learn control system? So control system, this is a part of every engineering. So why we should study? Here are some points to increase the productivity and to improve the performance of a device and to obtain high quality products. Automation is one of the very important part of a control system. If we install the control system, we will get the automation of like we can control the process, we can control the device, we can control the system. So next, what is input signal? So for this any kind of system, there will be an input, correct? So when we give the input signal, then only the equipments or devices will start functioning. So we will first see or define what is input signal. So input signal is a stimulus or excitation that we apply to the control system from an external source. Correct. So once we imply this externally, the input signal, the system starts activated and it starts giving you a response to the input. Correct. So in order to produce the output which is required. So input we select accordingly what output I want to generate from the system. So now what is output signal? So when we give input, the actual response or a stimulus that is generated by a system, any kind of system. For example, if at all I am operating a switch to turn on the fan, so my the operation of the switch becomes the input, and the current flows through the circuit which is reaching to the fan, and fan starts circulating the air. Correct. So I have turned on the fan, and output is the fan starts rotating the air. Correct. So this is output signal. My output is the mechanical motion of the fan, and input is the electric supply, the switch. Through the switch I am giving input. So now next topic is the system. What do you mean by system? So system is nothing but the arrangement or a combination of different physical components which are connected in a series or a sequential manner, and which are performing certain task. They have some objective or a task to do. We are arranging all the physical components so that they perform certain. Previously we saw one simple circuit, right? I'll just go to that. Yeah, this can be called as a small system where I am glowing a bulb. Bulb gives me the light, and this is meant for giving light, and switch is operating, and I can control the bulb glowing here. So next topic is, what does this mean by control? So control means to regulate, to direct, or to command a system so that a desired objective is attained. So for example, in the previous example, in a circuit where I was connecting a battery to a bulb and bulb was glowing, right? Instead of that, what I did, I installed a switch in that circuit so that I can control the bulb when it should be on and off. Similarly, I can also control the fan by using a regulator. Correct? The speed of the fan I can control by using a regulator. If I don't use a regulator, what happens? The fan will start rotating in common speed. We cannot vary the speed according to our requirement. So by installing the regulator, by installing a regulator, I can control the speed of the fan. So combination of this, the system we discussed now and control also. What do you mean by control? So together, so control is having a regulation, direction to commanding towards to the system, and together they form a control system. So here is a small example. Suddenly, like human body example, suddenly if we saw any threat on the road while passing, we feel that we should avoid that threat, or what immediately we will respond, our brain will send signal. See, in this case, suddenly some threatening animal they saw and they are running away from that. Correct? So this helps, like the brain is processing it and it knows that in its memory it is a harmful, so it gives this instruction to the limbs so that it has to go away from that threat. So next is, what do you mean by control system? So here, control system, in this, we have an input signal, we have an output signal, and also the process is going on. When you give input to the system, it will process it and to produce the required output. It is an arrangement of a different physical elements connected in a manner to regulate direct command and achieving the objective or achieving the required output. Difference between system and control system. So now, till now, we were discussing about what do you mean by system, what do you mean by control, and what do you mean by input signal, what do you mean by output signal. Now we will discuss a small difference between system and control system. We have system, like system, it receives the input and it processes it according to its design and it gives output, correct? But the system is not sure that the output is whether it is exactly the desired value or no. Now next, control system. Control, if you install a control system inside your system, it makes sure that the output is as per the desired value. So I can give one more example for this. The fan example is the fan. So here fan, it receives the input 230 volt of 50 kilohertz frequency AC supply. For fan, this is an input. And what is the output of the fan? The fan starts rotating. The motor installed inside will start rotating when it gets supply. So when it rotates, the blades of the fan circulates the air to the room so that we feel cool. Correct? So that is the output of the fan. So when can I call fan as a system and when I can call it as a control system? So here, fan without blade cannot be a system, right? What is the main motto or goal of using the fan? It has to circulate the air in the room, correct? Suppose if the blades are absent, it doesn't do that task. It just rotate, the motor rotate and it cannot be circulating the air, proper output cannot be generated. So input is again same, no airflow is there because blades are absent. So next is, a fan with a blade can be a system, correct? A fan with a blade which receives the 230 50 hertz input AC supply and which rotates, and when it is rotating, it air flows and it generates the output. But it cannot be a control system because when I am giving input, it starts rotating with the common speed. For example, today there is a weather change, I don't want high speed with or low, I want the fan to be at the lower speed, correct? So it cannot be a control system. So next is a fan with a regulator. Here control element, I am installing a control element. That is, here I am giving input and I am controlling the speed. To control the speed, I am adding a regulator so that whichever speed I want fan to be rotated, I can install and I can control the airflow as per my requirement. So here I am able to achieve desired output. So today we discussed about the system definition and input signal, output signal, difference between control system and difference between difference between system and control system. So thank you. In the next class, we will be further discussing about the next topics. Thank you.